It's time for another geek session here on Weather for Weather Geeks. Good evening, everyone. I'm your chief weather geek, Eric Wilhelm. As we head into the upcoming weekend, it's kind of a good news, bad news situation. Good news is it's going to be pretty mild, especially Sunday. Bad news is we're going to continue to be plagued by raindrops. February ending on a pretty wet note, although the last few days of the month won't be wet. Overall, the second half of the month, to be more specific, it has been pretty wet. Not white, but wet, and that includes today. We picked up 0.54 at our downtown studios. At my house in Boardman, about 0.59, about a quarter of an inch to a third of an inch, pretty good average in Columbiana County earlier on today, and close to a half an inch along I-80 in Trumbull and Mercer counties. So we got a pretty good drink of water again today, and we're just getting started with, pretty wet pattern that's going to take us through the weekend. We're in a break right now, but here's the next plume of moisture gathering out to the south and west, and this is going to make a beeline towards our region as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. Boy, a slew of flood watches and warnings out there. All of this, the darker green, are flood watches. In this brighter green, these are all the individual flood warnings, mostly for rivers across parts of the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and heading down into the Mississippi Valley as well. So as we go, let's see, I didn't want to show you that. Let's skip that graphic and go to this one. I wanted to show you this one. There we go. The reason why we have flood watches out, there's been a lot of rain lately, and there will be more rain over the next several days. Look at some of these rain totals from northeast Texas up through southwest Ohio. You look at the legend up here. This is probably 4 inches of rain as a good average from now through early on next week. Back here at home, we're not expecting totals to be that high here, but we're going to see off and on rain and drizzle tomorrow. I don't think it's anything all that heavy for most of the day tomorrow. Fairly light most of the time. Probably just some drizzle by the end of the afternoon into the evening. And then Saturday, I think the model may be a little underdone here with the rain on Saturday. Most of the modeling tries to bring some of this steadier rain a little farther to the north on Saturday. We'll watch this trend, but I do think there's a good chance to get wet at least part of the day on Saturday. And then as we go into Saturday night, again, depending on what model you look at, our chances for heavy rain will be there, although our latest in-house model here keeps most of it to the south Saturday night. Enough modeling shows it farther north that I think there's a chance for some pretty hefty rain Saturday night and early Sunday. Now, the rain's going to shut down by lunchtime on Sunday, and that is good news for the second half of the weekend. I think we can salvage Sunday afternoon. It's going to be pretty nice outside. We'll have sunshine. There'll be a gusty breeze. Probably the windiest part of the day will be the morning. The wind should settle down somewhat in the afternoon, and the temperature plunge probably won't occur until later in the day. I was concerned temperatures will just drop all day Sunday. Now it looks like they're going to kind of level out in the 50s, maybe even close to 60. And then fall sort of sharply as we head towards sunset. So I think we can get outside and enjoy Sunday afternoon after a wet start to the weekend. Now, this is just through Saturday night. Our rainfall totals on the modeling, the trend has been down a little bit from Friday through Saturday night, but a good average right now is probably an inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch. And we'll get some more on top of this Sunday morning. So, we just picked up a half an inch of rain today in a lot of spots. We're probably going to see at least another inch to inch and a half, perhaps even 2 inches worth of rain from tomorrow through Sunday morning. And so this brings about the concern about our swollen rivers and streams. Just an example here, Mahoning River at Levittsburg, current elevated state at 7.61 feet. It'll probably, we'll have a little mini crest here with the rain that we'll have Friday night, Saturday morning, it'll probably crest, and then a more substantial crest is likely once the weekend is through and into the wee hours of Monday morning. Could kind of crest right in the middle of minor flood stage, right around 11.5 feet. So that's Mahoning River at Levittsburg. We'll also keep a close eye on the Ohio River at East Liverpool, Eagle Creek in southwestern Trumbull County. Some of the local waterways that are running pretty high, and will continue to do so. Beyond the 7-day forecast, a pattern change. We're going to talk about this in a little more detail here. It's going to be pretty unsettled and chilly in the west, but even in the eastern U.S., I think we're in for a cooler pattern. It doesn't look real cold to me, but a cooler pattern, yes, as we go into the month of March. It's Thursday evening, so we can take a look at the latest European modeling here, the long-range modeling. I'm showing you a top-down view. We're looking down at the North Pole. Here's the North Pole right here. Here's our region. And this is the upper-level pattern. And, you look for the reds and the oranges for the the ridges of high pressure and the blues and the greens for troughs of low pressure and unsettled weather. It's pretty remarkable how the northern hemisphere pattern is going to develop over the next couple of weeks. Our weather, more often than not, moves from west to east, both down here at the ground and upstairs in the atmosphere, but actually a kind of a retrograde here. The trough over Europe is going to move westward across the Atlantic underneath a very, very significant Greenland ridge, Greenland block up over Greenland. So, yeah, watch this. See that green and blue blob? It actually moves from east to west out across the Atlantic and then settles in over the eastern U.S. as we go into the second week of March. So that's a pretty unusual pattern change. And what that'll mean for us is an increased chance for some chilly weather, at times stormy weather. Again, it doesn't look real cold to me. Now, how long does this last? That's a big question at this point, and confidence is low on that. This set of modeling definitely lifts out that trough as we go into the second half of March. Suggestion here, a hint on the modeling that, there could be some cold weather in Western Canada and maybe some mild weather trying to build across the southeastern U.S. once again during the second half of March. But again, confidence on that pretty low. Here's a look at the temperature scheme on the model. Here's our chillier weather for the first half of March. And the model does show that sort of trying to fade away in the second half of the month of March. So I'll do an official March forecast next week as we get closer to the first day of the month, which is on Thursday. At this point, I'm leaning towards a chilly-ish month, maybe weighted towards the first half of the month. Actually, kind of like February. Early February was pretty cold, but boy, have we turned things around in a big hurry during the second half of the month. Thanks for watching tonight's Weather for Weather Geeks. We'll be on late tonight. I think it's a midnight start tonight, so I'll be in search of more caffeine here this evening. We have a big event, I believe, figure skating, women's figure skating maybe, on this evening. So we'll be on late tonight. We'll have a Friday evening Weather for Weather Geeks coming at you tomorrow evening. Hope you have a great Thursday night and a pleasant Friday morning.